Tonight, we wander softly into the quiet world of raccoons, those gentle night travelers whose masked faces and careful hands have fascinated people for centuries. As the daylight fades and the world grows still, a raccoon begins its slow, thoughtful journey beneath silver moonlight. In the hush of evening, when cities dim and forests exhale cool air, these small mammals awaken with a calm alertness, stepping out from hollow trees, leafy dens, or quiet corners of suburban neighborhoods. There is something soothing about imagining their padded footsteps pressing into soft earth, their ringed tails swaying like striped ribbons in the dark. Long before modern cities rose, raccoons thrived across the woodlands of North America, perfectly adapted to riversides, marshes, and forests where water reflects the stars like scattered diamonds. Their scientific name, Procyon loader, hints at their curious nature, for it loosely translates to before the dog, the washer, a nod to their habit of dipping food into water, a behavior that appears almost ritualistic under the glow of moonlight. As we begin this journey together, let your breathing slow and your thoughts drift like mist over a quiet pond, because the life of a raccoon unfolds not with urgency, but with patient, nighttime grace. There is a peaceful rhythm to their existence, a balance between curiosity and caution, exploration and rest. From the moment a raccoon emerges from its den, its world is alive with subtle sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, the gentle ripple of a stream. Each sound is information, each scent a story written on the air. And so, as we step softly into this first chapter, imagine standing at the edge of a forest at dusk, watching a raccoon pause beneath an ancient oak tree, its dark eyes reflecting starlight, as if holding secrets of the night. As the night deepens, we begin to notice the remarkable design of the raccoon's body, shaped by evolution to suit a life of exploration and gentle mischief. Their front paws are extraordinarily sensitive, almost like small human hands, with 5 flexible fingers capable of opening latches, turning objects, and feeling textures with astonishing precision. Beneath the surface of those nimble paws lies a dense network of nerve endings, making touch their most powerful sense. In the darkness, where sight fades into shadow, a raccoon relies on its sense of touch the way we rely on vision. When it dips its paws into cool stream water, it is not simply washing its food, as many people believe, but enhancing its tactile sensitivity. The water awakens the nerve endings, making every pebble, shell, or crayfish more distinguishable. This quiet, almost meditative act of dipping and feeling connects the raccoon to its environment in a deeply physical way. Its thick fur, soft yet insulating, keeps it warm through cold nights, while its distinctive black mask may help reduce glare and enhance focus under low light, much like the markings beneath the eyes of athletes. Their bushy, ringed tails serve as balancing tools when climbing trees or navigating narrow ledges, and also act as warm blankets during rest. There is an elegance to their design, not flashy or dramatic, but practical and refined. As you picture a raccoon climbing slowly up the rough bark of a tree, its claws gripping with gentle certainty, you may begin to feel the calm assurance of a creature perfectly suited to its world. Nothing about it is rushed. Every movement is deliberate, measured, and quiet. In this stillness, there is comfort, and in understanding their physical gifts, we find ourselves admiring the quiet intelligence woven into their very form. By the time the moon hangs high in the sky, a raccoon's foraging journey is well underway, guided by instinct and curiosity in equal measure. Raccoons are omnivores, which means their diet is wonderfully varied, a reflection of their adaptable nature. In the wild, they feast on berries glistening with dew, tender shoots, insects hidden beneath bark, and small aquatic creatures drawn from shallow streams. Their presence near water is almost poetic, as they move along riverbanks with soft precision, listening for the faint splash of a frog or the subtle shift of a crayfish beneath stones. When they find food, they pause, examining it with careful hands, turning it over as if studying a puzzle. This thoughtful approach gives them an air of contemplation, as though they are tiny philosophers of the forest. In urban environments, raccoons have demonstrated extraordinary adaptability, learning to navigate alleyways and gardens with the same curiosity they once reserved for woodland trails. Yet even in cities, their movements remain cautious and measured, guided by an innate awareness of risk. They remember the locations of reliable food sources and can solve surprisingly complex problems to access meals. Studies have shown that raccoons possess impressive memory and learning abilities, capable of recalling solutions to tasks months after first encountering them. But beyond the science lies a simple, soothing image: a raccoon sitting quietly by a stream, moonlight shimmering on water, gently holding a berry between its paws. In that still moment, there is no rush, no noise, only the quiet rhythm of nature continuing as it has for countless generations. As you imagine this scene, allow your own thoughts to slow, mirroring the raccoon's unhurried exploration beneath the night sky. When dawn approaches and the horizon softens with pale light, the raccoon's world begins to shift once more. After hours of patient wandering, it returns to its den, often nestled within a hollow tree, a rocky crevice, or even a sheltered attic in a quiet neighborhood. Dens are chosen with care, offering safety and warmth. Inside, the air is calm and insulated from the outside world, a gentle refuge where the raccoon curls its body into a compact shape, wrapping its ringed tail around itself like a striped blanket. This is the raccoon's time of rest, when the busy night fades into memory and the body recovers its strength. Unlike some animals, raccoons do not truly hibernate, but in colder climates they enter periods of torpor, sleeping for extended stretches during harsh winter weather. Their heart rate slows, their metabolism eases, and they conserve energy until milder nights return. There is something deeply comforting about this rhythm of activity and rest, a reminder that even the most curious explorer must pause and recharge. In spring, raccoon mothers create especially secure dens for their young, lining them with leaves and soft materials. The kits, born blind and delicate, rely entirely on their mother's warmth and protection. Over time, they grow stronger, opening their eyes to a world of shadows and soft light. Watching a mother raccoon gently guide her kits on their first nighttime outings is a tender sight, filled with quiet instruction and patient care. She teaches them where to forage, how to listen, and when to retreat. In these early lessons, we glimpse the social intelligence and nurturing instinct that define raccoon families. And as morning light filters through forest branches, illuminating dew-covered leaves, the raccoon sleeps peacefully, unaware that somewhere, someone may be quietly wondering about its hidden life. In that shared curiosity, a bridge forms between human and animal, reminding us that even in the quietest corners of the night, life continues with grace, intelligence, and gentle purpose. As the second chapter of our quiet journey unfolds, we drift deeper into the hidden intelligence of raccoons, exploring the subtle workings of their minds beneath the silver wash of moonlight. While their masked faces give them a playful, almost mischievous appearance, there is a remarkable depth behind those dark, reflective eyes. In the stillness of the night, when most of the world is asleep, a raccoon's brain is alive with quiet calculation. Scientists have long been fascinated by the cognitive abilities of Procyon lotor, observing how these adaptable mammals solve puzzles, remember complex solutions, and even manipulate objects with careful strategy. In controlled studies, raccoons have demonstrated the ability to unlock intricate mechanisms, sometimes recalling the solution months later, as if storing the memory gently in the folds of their awareness. But beyond laboratories and research notes, imagine instead a calm suburban evening where a raccoon pauses before a latched gate. It studies the structure patiently, tilting its head slightly, paws resting against cool metal. There is no rush, no panic, only methodical curiosity. Slowly, almost thoughtfully, it tests the latch, nudging and lifting until the barrier yields. The gate swings open with a soft creak, and the raccoon continues on its way, as though solving such problems is simply part of its nightly meditation. Their intelligence is not loud or boastful, it is quiet and observant. Raccoons rely heavily on memory, mapping their surroundings with extraordinary detail. They remember where fruit trees ripen, where streams curve gently through forest undergrowth, and where human neighborhoods may offer opportunities or risks. This mental mapping allows them to move confidently through complex terrain, even in near darkness. Their sense of touch, already heightened by countless nerve endings in their paws, works in harmony with their minds, translating textures into meaningful information. When a raccoon dips its hands into water, it is engaging in a sensory dialogue with its environment, enhancing its perception through subtle stimulation. The behavior appears almost ceremonial under moonlight, yet it serves a practical purpose, awakening tactile receptors that make every object clearer and more defined. In this way, their intelligence is deeply physical, rooted not only in thought but in sensation. What makes raccoons especially fascinating is their adaptability. As cities expanded across North America, these nocturnal explorers did not retreat entirely into shrinking forests. Instead, they adjusted. Rooftops became new climbing routes. Storm drains echoed like hollow trees. Trash bins, though controversial to humans, became puzzles to solve and opportunities to learn. This adaptability reflects a flexible brain capable of adjusting to rapidly changing environments. Studies have shown that raccoons can distinguish between symbols, remember patterns, and adapt strategies when previous solutions no longer work. Yet even as we consider these scientific findings, it helps to return to a softer image: a raccoon perched on a wooden fence beneath starlight, listening to the hum of distant traffic while a gentle breeze moves through leaves. In that moment, its mind is not racing with complexity. It is simply attentive, open to subtle cues and shifting scents carried by the air. Curiosity is perhaps the most defining feature of a raccoon's character. Young kits, especially, display playful experimentation as they explore their world. They paw at twigs, investigate fallen leaves, and investigate shimmering reflections in water. This playful curiosity is not random. It is a learning process woven gently into their development. Through exploration, they gather information about texture, sound, and cause and effect. A stick dropped into water creates ripples. A shell cracked open reveals nourishment inside. Over time, these small lessons accumulate into a quiet body of knowledge that supports survival. There is something soothing about imagining this gradual learning, free from hurry or pressure. The raccoon's world unfolds at night, in measured discoveries and gentle experiments. Even communication among raccoons reflects subtle intelligence. They produce a variety of soft vocalizations, chirps, purrs, and growls, used primarily between mothers and kits. Body language plays an equally important role. A raised tail, a shift in posture, or a gentle nudge can convey intent without loud display. In this quiet communication, we sense a society that values subtlety over spectacle. Unlike animals that live in large, noisy groups, raccoons often lead semi-solitary lives, crossing paths briefly yet meaningfully. Their interactions are purposeful, guided by shared understanding rather than constant chatter. As the night grows deeper, imagine a raccoon standing beside a calm pond, its reflection shimmering beside it. The surface of the water mirrors not only its masked face but also the quiet complexity of its inner world. Intelligence, in raccoons, is not measured by grand achievements but by steady adaptation, patient memory, and gentle problem-solving. They do not seek dominance or display, they seek balance. They observe, learn, and adjust, moving through landscapes both wild and urban with calm resilience. And so, as we close this second chapter, allow yourself to feel the quiet reassurance that intelligence does not always roar. Sometimes it moves softly through shadow, guided by curiosity and patience. Sometimes it climbs a tree with steady claws or listens to the hush of wind through branches. In the masked wanderer of the night, we glimpse a mind attuned to detail, a spirit shaped by adaptability, and a rhythm that harmonizes perfectly with darkness. Beneath the moon's pale glow, the raccoon continues its silent exploration, thoughtful and unhurried, reminding us that even in the quietest hours, awareness thrives like a gentle ember in the dark. As we ease gently into the third chapter of our quiet exploration, the night feels deeper now, softer, as though the world itself has settled into a slower breath. Somewhere along the edge of a silver-threaded stream, beneath branches that sway like dark lace against the sky, a raccoon moves with careful intention. This chapter invites us to wander beside water, because water has always been central to the life of Procyon loader, shaping its habits, instincts, and nightly rituals in ways both practical and quietly poetic. Raccoons are often drawn to rivers, ponds, marshes, and creeks, Not only because these places offer food, but because they offer texture, reflection, and subtle sound. Imagine the gentle ripple of water against smooth stones, the faint chorus of insects humming in tall grass, and the occasional soft splash of something shifting just beneath the surface. For a raccoon, this environment is not merely scenery, it is a living map of opportunity. Their sensitive paws hover over the water, dipping slowly, feeling for movement. In the cool darkness, sight becomes less important, and touch becomes a guiding light. There is a common belief that raccoons wash their food, and under the moon's glow, it certainly appears that way. A raccoon may hold a crayfish or berry in its paws and lower it into shallow water, turning it gently, almost meditatively. But this behavior, known scientifically as dowsing, is not about cleanliness in the human sense. Instead, water heightens the sensitivity of their nerve endings, allowing them to better perceive texture and shape. The act of dipping is a sensory enhancement, a way of gathering more information. In this ritual, there is something almost ceremonial, slow, deliberate, thoughtful. Along riverbanks, raccoons forage for frogs, fish, insects, and small crustaceans. Their diet shifts subtly with the seasons. In warmer months, aquatic life becomes abundant, and the raccoon's nightly path may trace the curve of a stream like a quiet pilgrim following a familiar road. In autumn, fallen fruits may drift toward the water's edge, and raccoons gather them with patient hands. The connection between raccoon and water is ancient, shaped by generations who found safety and nourishment near reflective surfaces. Water also offers protection. The gentle murmur of a flowing creek can mask small sounds of movement, helping raccoons avoid larger predators. The scent of damp earth and cool mist mingles with the raccoon's own scent, blending it into the environment. In this way, water becomes not only a source of food, but a quiet ally in survival. When a raccoon pauses at the water's edge, lifting its masked face to listen, it is reading a world written in ripples and echoes. Picture a still pond beneath a full moon. The surface is smooth as glass, broken only by widening circles where a raccoon's paw touches down. The reflection of trees stretches long and wavering. The raccoon leans forward, whiskers brushing the surface, ears alert yet relaxed. There is no hurry. The night is long, and the world feels suspended between breaths. In these moments, the raccoon seems less like a scavenger and more like a contemplative wanderer, exploring through sensation rather than sight. Even in urban settings, the instinct toward water remains strong. Raccoons may seek out decorative fountains, drainage ditches, or backyard ponds. The city may hum faintly in the distance, but near water, there is always a pocket of calm. The same tactile rituals continue, unchanged by concrete or streetlight. This continuity reminds us of the deep evolutionary thread connecting present to past, modern raccoon to ancient ancestor. Young raccoon kids often learn about water through gentle guidance from their mother. She may lead them to a shallow bank, where they tentatively dip their small paws for the first time. The sensation surprises them, cool, fluid, alive. They experiment clumsily at first, splashing more than sensing, but slowly their movements become measured. Through repetition, they discover how water transforms touch into clarity. These early lessons are quiet and patient, unfolding beneath stars while the rest of the world sleeps. Water, too, reflects light in a way that shapes a raccoon's nocturnal vision. Moonlight gliding across a stream creates shifting patterns, and raccoons learn to interpret these patterns instinctively. A sudden ripple may signal prey. A distorted reflection may hint at movement beyond the bank. In the dance of shadow and shimmer, the raccoon's awareness sharpens gently, guided by instinct refined over countless generations. As we rest in this third chapter, imagine sitting quietly near that same stream, listening to its steady murmur. The raccoon continues its exploration, dipping, feeling, pausing. There is something deeply comforting in this rhythm, the repetition of touch and water, movement and stillness. It reminds us that knowledge can be gathered slowly, through patience and attention rather than haste. And so, beneath the moon's steady glow, beside water that carries reflections of stars, the raccoon moves on, guided by the cool whisper of the current. Its paws rise and fall like soft punctuation marks in the night's long sentence. In that quiet exchange between fur and flowing water, we glimpse a simple truth. Sometimes understanding comes not from seeing more clearly, but from feeling more deeply. As we drift gently into the fourth chapter of our nocturnal journey, the forest feels thicker now, more enclosed, as though the trees themselves are leaning in to listen. The air carries the faint scent of bark and damp leaves, and somewhere high above, branches interlace like quiet architecture against the night sky. This is the realm where raccoons reveal another graceful talent: the art of climbing, balancing, and navigating the vertical world with calm assurance. Beneath the silver wash of moonlight, a raccoon approaches the base of a towering oak, its trunk wide and textured with grooves that spiral upward into darkness. Without hesitation, the raccoon rises onto its hind legs, places its sensitive paws against the bark, and begins to climb. There is nothing frantic in its movement. Each paw presses carefully, claws finding small ridges in the wood. Its body remains close to the trunk, tail extended slightly for balance. The ringed tail, often admired for its beauty, serves a quiet purpose here, acting like a counterweight as the raccoon ascends. Step by measured step, it climbs higher, navigating with confidence born from instinct and experience. For raccoons, trees are more than shelter. They are highways, watchtowers, and sanctuaries woven into one living structure. Raccoons possess semi-rotatable hind feet, a remarkable adaptation that allows them to descend trees headfirst. This unique flexibility provides stability and control, especially when retreating from danger or moving swiftly downward. Imagine the sensation of gripping bark beneath soft fur, the subtle shift of weight as gravity pulls gently downward. A raccoon does not rush. It flows with the motion, adjusting its posture in quiet harmony with the trunk. In these vertical journeys, we glimpse the elegance of evolution shaping form to function with subtle precision. High among branches, the forest feels different. Sounds soften and spread, carried by gentle breezes. From this vantage point, a raccoon can observe its surroundings with greater clarity. The distant rustle of undergrowth, the faint scurry of another creature below, the hush of wind through leaves, all become part of a layered symphony of nighttime awareness. Elevated above the forest floor, the raccoon pauses, steady and alert, its masked face framed by overlapping shadows. There is something deeply calming about imagining this stillness, the quiet confidence of a creature balanced between earth and sky. Trees also serve as safe havens. Hollow trunks, often carved by age or woodpeckers long ago, become dens where raccoons rest during daylight hours. Inside, the space is insulated from cold wind and hidden from watchful eyes. Leaves gathered into soft bedding create warmth and comfort. When dawn approaches and the first pale light filters through the canopy, a raccoon may retreat into such a hollow, curling its body into a compact form. Its tail wraps around itself, a striped blanket against the chill. The outside world brightens slowly, but inside the den, there is calm, sheltered darkness. In urban landscapes, trees remain important, but raccoons expand their climbing skills to rooftops, fences, and even brick walls. The same careful precision applies whether gripping bark or navigating gutter edges. Their claws hook gently into crevices, and their bodies shift fluidly from surface to surface. Watching a raccoon traverse a fence beneath soft streetlight feels almost dreamlike, as though witnessing a shadow come to life. Even amid human structures, their movements retain the quiet grace of forest dwellers. Young raccoon kits learn to climb through patient exploration. At first, their attempts are cautious and slightly clumsy. Tiny claws test bark tentatively. They ascend only a short distance before pausing, unsure. But under their mother's steady watch, they gain confidence. With each climb, their balance improves, their grip strengthens, and their understanding of height deepens. There is something tender in this progression, a reminder that mastery unfolds gently over time. Climbing also serves as protection. When threatened, raccoons often seek elevation, moving swiftly up trees to escape predators that cannot follow as easily. From a high branch, they can assess the situation calmly. Their breathing slows. Their gaze surveys the forest floor below. In these elevated moments, we sense the delicate balance between vulnerability and resilience that shapes all wildlife. As we rest within this fourth chapter, imagine yourself beneath that ancient oak, looking up as the raccoon settles comfortably along a sturdy branch. The moonlight outlines its silhouette, casting soft patterns across its fur. Leaves whisper overhead, and the night feels vast yet intimate. The raccoon's world is not limited to the ground. It extends upward into layered canopies and hidden hollows, a three-dimensional tapestry of pathways and refuge. And so, as the night continues its slow unfolding, the raccoon remains poised among branches, balanced and unhurried. In its steady climb and gentle descent, we find a quiet metaphor for adaptability, the ability to move between levels, to rise when needed, and to return safely to rest. Beneath stars that shimmer faintly through leaves, the raccoon embodies calm agility, reminding us that sometimes the most peaceful journeys are those taken step by careful step, upward into the sheltering embrace of the trees. As we drift softly into the fifth chapter of our nighttime journey, the air feels cooler now, touched by the slow turning of seasons. The forest floor is layered with fallen leaves, their edges curled and dry, whispering gently beneath padded paws. Raccoons, like many creatures shaped by the rhythm of the earth, live in quiet harmony with the changing seasons. Their lives are not hurried by calendars or clocks, but guided instead by subtle shifts in temperature, scent, and light. And in this gentle unfolding of time, we begin to see how deeply their behavior is woven into the cycle of the year. In spring, when the world stirs from winter's hush, raccoons grow more active beneath longer nights that gradually soften into warmer dawns. Buds swell on branches, insects reappear, and streams run fuller with melted snow. For raccoon mothers, this is the season of new life. Hidden within hollow trees or sheltered dens, tiny kits are born, blind, fragile, and wrapped in soft gray fur. The mother remains close, her body a shield of warmth and protection. Outside, the forest brightens with birdsong and fresh growth, but inside the den, everything is still and tender. As days pass, the kits begin to open their eyes, adjusting slowly to dim light filtering through cracks in bark. Their tiny paws stretch and flex, discovering sensation for the first time. Spring is a season of awakening, not only for the land, but for these small masked faces discovering the world. As spring deepens into summer, nights become warmer and filled with layered sound. Crickets hum steadily, frogs call from water's edge, and leaves thicken overhead. Summer offers abundance. Berries ripen, insects thrive, and aquatic life teems beneath calm surfaces. Raccoons take advantage of this generosity, foraging patiently and building body fat in preparation for leaner months ahead. Young kits now follow their mother on short nighttime excursions, stumbling at first but learning quickly. The air feels alive, rich with scent and texture. In summer, raccoons move with relaxed confidence, their coats sleek and full, their energy steady beneath starlight. Warm breezes carry the scent of fruit and damp soil, and the forest seems to hum with quiet vitality. Autumn arrives like a soft exhale. Leaves shift from green to amber and crimson, drifting slowly to the ground in spiraling patterns. The air cools and nights grow longer once more. For raccoons, autumn is a season of preparation. They forage more deliberately, seeking out nuts, fruits, and any remaining sources of nourishment. Their bodies instinctively respond to shortening daylight, increasing fat reserves to sustain them through winter's chill. There is something deeply calming about imagining a raccoon beneath a golden canopy of falling leaves, pausing to examine an acorn with thoughtful pause. The forest floor becomes a mosaic of color, and every step creates a soft rustle that blends into the steady rhythm of the season. When winter finally settles in, the landscape transforms into a quieter, more subdued world. Snow may blanket the ground, softening edges and muffling sound. Ice forms delicate patterns along stream banks. Raccoons do not truly hibernate, but they reduce their activity significantly during harsh weather. In colder regions, they retreat to dens for extended periods, entering states of torpor where metabolism slows and energy is conserved. Inside hollow trees or sheltered spaces, they curl tightly, their ringed tails wrapped around their bodies like striped scarves. The outside world may seem still and silent, but within the den, warmth lingers gently. Occasionally, during milder winter nights, a raccoon may venture out briefly, leaving delicate paw prints in fresh snow before returning to safety. Seasonal change shapes not only their behavior, but also their appearance. Their fur thickens in winter, offering insulation against frost. In summer, it becomes lighter and more breathable. These subtle transformations mirror the land itself, adapting fluidly to temperature and light. There is a quiet wisdom in this rhythm, a reminder that survival does not require constant motion, but rather thoughtful adjustment to changing conditions. Even in urban environments, raccoons remain attuned to the seasons. Though city lights blur the distinction between day and night, the air still cools in autumn and winter winds still bite. Raccoons navigate these shifts with the same instinctual awareness as their forest-dwelling kin. Rooftops may replace tree branches, and drainage pipes may echo like hollow trunks, but the underlying seasonal pulse remains unchanged. As we settle into the calm of this 5th chapter, imagine standing at the edge of a forest in late autumn. The sky is clear, stars scattered like frost across velvet darkness. A raccoon moves quietly among fallen leaves, its breath faintly visible in cool air. There is no urgency in its step, only steady preparation, guided by instinct older than memory. The earth turns, seasons flow into one another, and the raccoon follows this gentle cycle with quiet resilience. In observing their seasonal rhythm, we are reminded of our own need for balance between activity and rest, growth and retreat. Beneath moonlit skies and shifting canopies, the raccoon continues its life in harmony with time itself. And as winter's hush deepens or spring's warmth returns, it adapts without complaint, moving softly through change, always guided by the subtle, enduring pulse of the natural world. As we move gently into the 6th chapter of our quiet nighttime journey, the forest feels more intimate now, as though we are being invited into a private world rarely seen. The moon hangs low, casting a soft silver glow across tangled branches and moss-covered logs. Somewhere within a hollow tree, lined carefully with dry leaves and soft grasses, a raccoon mother rests beside her young. This chapter is about family, about tenderness beneath fur and instinct, about the quiet devotion that shapes the earliest days of a raccoon's life. In early spring, after weeks of patient preparation, a mother raccoon gives birth to a small litter of kits. These newborns are delicate and blind, their eyes sealed shut, their movements small and uncertain. Their fur is faint and soft, their tiny paws already formed with the remarkable dexterity they will one day rely upon. At birth, they are completely dependent, guided only by warmth and scent. The den becomes their entire universe, a dim, enclosed sanctuary where the outside world exists only as distant murmurs filtered through wood and bark. The mother rarely leaves during these first fragile days. She curls around her kits, her body forming a living shield against cold drafts and unseen dangers. Her breathing is slow and steady, a comforting rhythm that the kits instinctively match. When she must forage for food, she does so cautiously and quickly, returning with careful urgency to ensure her young remain safe. There is no spectacle in her devotion, no grand display, only steady, instinctive care shaped by countless generations before her. After several weeks, the kits begin to change. Their eyes open gradually, adjusting to faint light. The world inside the den expands in subtle detail, textures of bark, the scent of leaves, the warmth of siblings pressed close. They begin to crawl clumsily, testing their balance, exploring the edges of their small sanctuary. Their tiny paws reach outward, touching everything within range. Even in these early days, curiosity flickers quietly within them. As the kits grow stronger, the mother begins introducing them to the world beyond the den. The first excursion is cautious and brief. One by one, the kits emerge into filtered moonlight, blinking at the unfamiliar brightness of night. The forest air feels cooler against their fur. Leaves rustle softly beneath their unsteady steps. Their mother stays close, her posture alert but calm, guiding them gently with soft vocalizations and subtle nudges. These early lessons are patient and deliberate. The kits learn to climb low branches, gripping bark with uncertain claws. They stumble, recover, and try again. They learn to forage by imitation, watching as their mother dips her paws into shallow water or carefully examines a fallen fruit. Every small action becomes instruction. There is no hurry in this education, only repetition, observation, and gentle correction. Communication within raccoon families is subtle yet expressive. Kits produce soft chirps and squeaks to signal hunger or distress. The mother responds with quiet purrs and low growls, each sound carrying meaning. Physical contact reinforces these messages. A nudge of the nose, a reassuring brush of fur. In the stillness of night, these exchanges form a delicate language of care. As summer deepens, the kits grow more confident. Their playful energy becomes evident in tumbling chases and mock wrestling matches beneath starlight. They explore fallen logs, investigate rustling leaves, and climb higher into branches. Play is more than amusement. It refines coordination, strengthens muscles, and sharpens reflexes. Through play, they prepare for independence, though they remain closely bonded to their mother. By late summer or early autumn, the family begins to shift gradually towards separation. The kits, now nearly adult in size, start venturing farther from the den. They test their independence, sometimes wandering a short distance before returning. The mother's guidance becomes less constant, her lessons already rooted firmly within them. Eventually, each young raccoon will establish its own territory, carrying forward the quiet knowledge learned in those early months. There is something deeply soothing about imagining this gentle progression, from blind newborns nestled in darkness to curious explorers navigating moonlit forests. The rhythm of raccoon family life unfolds without drama, guided by instinct and patience. It is a reminder that growth happens gradually, in small moments repeated over time. As we settle into the calm of this 6th chapter, picture the raccoon family resting together once more inside their hollow tree. Outside, the night hums softly with distant sounds. Inside, warmth and safety linger. The kits press close, their breathing steady and synchronized. The mother's eyes remain half open, ever watchful yet peaceful. In this quiet den, beneath layers of bark and leaves, the story of raccoons continues through generations, not in grand gestures, but in tender moments of protection and learning. And as the moon glides silently overhead, the family sleeps together, wrapped in warmth and the unspoken promise of another gentle night to come. As we ease into the 7th chapter of our gentle nocturnal journey, the forest begins to thin, and the distant glow of human habitation appears along the horizon. The air carries a faint hum now, soft echoes of traffic, the quiet buzz of streetlights, the subtle rhythm of a world that rarely sleeps. And yet, even here, in neighborhoods and city edges, raccoons move with the same quiet confidence they carry through woodlands. This chapter invites us to explore their relationship with the human world, a delicate dance of adaptation, caution, and quiet coexistence. Long before cities expanded across landscapes, raccoons thrived in dense forests and along winding rivers throughout North America. But as towns grew and trees gave way to buildings, raccoons did not disappear. Instead, they adapted with remarkable flexibility. Rooftops became elevated pathways. Chimneys and attics offered shelter reminiscent of hollow trees. Storm drains echoed like underground dens. In many ways, cities became new ecosystems layered atop the old, and raccoons learned to read these new landscapes with thoughtful precision. Imagine a quiet suburban street just past midnight. Porch lights glow softly. Gardens lie still beneath the moon. A raccoon emerges from beneath a deck, its masked face illuminated briefly by pale light. It pauses, listening carefully. The scent of ripening fruit drifts from a nearby yard. The faint metallic scent of a trash bin lingers in the cool air. With measured steps, it crosses the lawn, each movement deliberate and silent. Raccoons are often labeled as mischievous for their exploration of garbage bins, but beneath that behavior lies intelligence and resourcefulness. Urban environments provide concentrated sources of food, though accessing them often requires problem solving. Lids must be nudged, latches lifted, obstacles navigated. Over time, raccoons memorize which houses provide reliable nourishment and which present risk. Their mental maps expand to include alleyways, fences, and hidden routes that allow safe passage between feeding areas. Yet their coexistence with humans is not without tension. Bright lights, loud noises, and sudden movements can startle them easily. Despite their bold reputation, raccoons remain cautious creatures. They prefer to avoid confrontation, slipping away into shadow at the first sign of disturbance. In this quiet withdrawal, we see their instinct for self-preservation. They are not invaders by nature, they are opportunists responding to opportunity. Urban raccoons display behavioral flexibility that fascinates scientists. Studies observing city populations of Procyon lotor reveal differences from their rural counterparts. They may adjust their active hours slightly to avoid peak human movement. They learn to interpret human routines, the timing of trash collection, the quiet hours of neighborhoods, the patterns of light and sound. This adaptability reflects a mind attuned not only to natural cues but to artificial ones as well. Even in cities, water remains important. Decorative ponds, drainage ditches, and small streams continue to attract raccoons for foraging and tactile exploration. The same gentle dipping of paws into water occurs beneath the glow of street lamps, unchanged by the surrounding architecture. This continuity reminds us that beneath their urban presence, raccoons remain fundamentally wild, guided by instincts shaped over thousands of years. There are moments of quiet beauty in these shared spaces. A raccoon crossing a quiet park at night, its shadow stretching long across pavement. A mother leading her nearly grown kits along a fence line, pausing to ensure each one follows safely. The city hum fades into background stillness, and for a moment, the scene feels almost timeless. Of course, coexistence requires balance. When humans secure food sources and reduce attractants, raccoons naturally return to more traditional foraging patterns. Their presence in urban spaces is often a reflection of availability rather than preference. They are survivors, responding to conditions with calm resilience. As we settle into the calm of this 7th chapter, imagine standing at your window late at night. Outside, beneath the quiet glow of distant stars and streetlights alike, a raccoon moves gracefully across a yard. It pauses briefly, glancing toward the house, not with hostility, but with curiosity. Then it continues on its way, disappearing into shadow as softly as it arrived. In that fleeting encounter, there is a gentle reminder that our world overlaps with countless other lives unfolding silently beside us. The raccoon does not seek attention or approval, it simply navigates the spaces available to it. Beneath city lights or forest canopies, its rhythm remains steady and unhurried. And so, as the night deepens and human homes grow quiet, raccoons continue their silent patrol of rooftops, gardens, and alleyways. Their masked faces drift through shadow like soft echoes of the wild, reminding us that nature does not vanish when cities rise. It adapts, adjusts, and continues, moving gently through the spaces between our own restless dreams. As we drift softly into the 8th chapter of our nighttime journey, the air grows quieter again, and we step away from rooftops and riverbanks into something more subtle, the hidden language of raccoons. The forest feels still, almost expectant, as though every leaf and branch is listening. Beneath the steady glow of the moon, communication unfolds not in loud calls or dramatic gestures, but in whispers of movement, in posture, in breath. Raccoons live largely solitary lives, yet they are never truly silent among one another. Their world is threaded together by quiet signals, delicate sounds, and the soft grammar of touch. If you were to sit patiently in the shadows of a woodland clearing, you might hear it, a faint churring sound, almost like a bird's gentle note carried on cool air. This is one of the many vocalizations raccoons use, especially between mother and kits. Young raccoons produce soft whimpers and squeaks to signal hunger or uncertainty. In response, the mother may emit a low purring sound, deep and reassuring, like distant thunder softened by leaves. These sounds are rarely loud enough to travel far. They are intimate exchanges, meant only for those nearby. Adult raccoons also use growls, hisses, and sharp chattering sounds when threatened or competing for territory. Yet even these are measured rather than explosive. Conflict is often avoided through posture long before it becomes physical. A raccoon may arch its back slightly, raise its fur to appear larger, or shift its stance to signal unease. Eye contact, too, carries meaning. A direct stare can serve as a warning, while a relaxed glance signals calm acceptance of shared space. Scent plays an equally important role in their communication. Raccoons possess scent glands that allow them to mark territory subtly, leaving invisible messages along tree trunks, logs, and pathways. These scent markers inform other raccoons of presence, identity, and sometimes reproductive status. To us, these signals are imperceptible, but to a raccoon navigating the night, they form a layered map of social information. The forest becomes a library of quiet messages written in scent rather than ink. Touch, however, may be the most intimate form of raccoon communication. Within family groups, grooming reinforces bonds. A mother gently licking the fur of her kits not only cleans them but strengthens connection. Siblings tumble and wrestle in play, their mock battles refining coordination and social understanding. Through these interactions, young raccoons learn limits. How hard is too hard, when to retreat, when to yield. Play becomes both education and bonding ritual, unfolding beneath the patient gaze of stars. Even in urban environments, these subtle communications persist. A raccoon crossing a backyard fence may pause to sniff a familiar scent left hours before by another. Two raccoons meeting near a shared food source may circle cautiously, reading each other's posture before deciding whether to share space or part ways. Rarely do these encounters escalate dramatically. More often, they resolve quietly, each individual moving off in a separate direction, avoiding unnecessary conflict. There is something deeply calming about this understated social world. Unlike animals that live in large herds or flocks, raccoons value independence, yet they remain capable of connection when needed. During colder months, especially in harsh climates, multiple raccoons may share a den for warmth. In these temporary communities, proximity replaces solitude, bodies curled together against winter's chill. No grand ceremony marks this cooperation, only the simple, practical comfort of shared heat. Imagine now a quiet forest clearing just before dawn. Two raccoons cross paths near the base of an old maple tree. They pause, noses twitching, ears attentive. One shifts slightly to the side, allowing the other to pass. No sound breaks the stillness. The exchange is wordless yet complete. Within seconds, they disappear in opposite directions, their encounter resolved through subtle acknowledgement. In observing their communication, we begin to appreciate a different kind of social intelligence, one rooted in restraint and awareness rather than dominance. Raccoons do not announce themselves loudly to the night. They negotiate space with quiet signals, trusting instinct and sensory perception to guide them. As this 8th chapter settles into stillness, imagine yourself lying beneath a canopy of branches, listening not for loud calls but for the faintest rustle, the softest breath of movement. Somewhere nearby, a raccoon shifts its weight, adjusts its stance, perhaps releases a barely audible chirr to a sibling hidden in shadow. These small sounds carry meaning beyond their volume. And so, beneath the patient glow of moonlight, raccoons continue their quiet conversations. Written in scent, expressed in posture, murmured in soft tones that fade almost as soon as they are heard. In their understated language, we find a gentle reminder that connection does not always require noise. Sometimes it lives in subtlety, in shared glances, in the hush between heartbeats, woven delicately into the fabric of the night. As we move softly into the 9th chapter of our quiet exploration, the night feels older now, as though it carries memories far deeper than a single season or generation. The forest is still, but beneath its calm surface lies a long evolutionary story stretching back thousands upon thousands of years. To understand raccoons fully, we must step gently into their past, into the ancient landscapes where their ancestors first learned to climb, forage, and listen to the rhythm of darkness. Long before cities glowed or highways hummed, the ancestors of Procyon Lotor roamed vast woodlands and wetlands across North America. These early raccoons lived in environments shaped by glaciers, shifting rivers, and expanding forests. Over time, natural selection refined their bodies and instincts. Their dexterous paws became more sensitive, better suited for manipulating food and exploring textures. Their flexible ankles allowed confident climbing and headfirst descents. Their distinctive facial mask, dark fur surrounding the eyes, may have evolved to reduce glare and sharpen nighttime vision, though its exact origin remains softly debated among scientists. Fossil records suggest that members of the Procyon family, which includes raccoons and their relatives, have existed for millions of years. Their lineage reveals adaptability as a defining trait. Some ancient relatives occupied tropical regions, while others spread into cooler climates. This flexibility allowed raccoons to thrive through environmental shifts that might have challenged less adaptable species. Forests expanded and contracted, climates warmed and cooled, yet raccoons endured, adjusting quietly to each transformation. Imagine an Ice Age forest, where snow lay thick across the land and towering conifers stretched into pale skies. Early raccoons navigated this colder world with thicker fur and careful foraging strategies. They sought shelter in hollow trees and rocky crevices, conserving energy during harsh winters. When glaciers receded and warmer climates returned, raccoons expanded their range once more, following rivers and fertile valleys into newly flourishing territories. In this slow migration across centuries, they carried with them instincts shaped by survival and subtle intelligence. As human civilizations began to form, raccoons continued their quiet existence. Indigenous peoples across North America observed them closely, often incorporating raccoons into folklore and storytelling. In some traditions, raccoons were depicted as clever tricksters, curious beings whose intelligence bordered on mischief. These stories reflected a recognition of the raccoon's resourcefulness, its ability to solve problems and adapt to change. Even without scientific language, early observers understood that raccoons possessed something special, a thoughtful awareness that set them apart. Over time, raccoons expanded beyond their original ranges, sometimes with human assistance. In parts of Europe and Japan, raccoons were introduced during the 20th century, often through the pet trade or fur farming. Once released or escaped, they adapted quickly to their new environments, establishing populations in forests, farmlands, and urban areas. Their success in unfamiliar territories again demonstrated the flexibility that defines their species. Yet these introductions also brought ecological challenges, reminding us that adaptability can ripple outward in complex ways. Despite their resilience, raccoons remain deeply connected to specific environmental features: access to water, shelter, and diverse food sources. Their evolutionary journey has shaped them into generalists, creatures capable of thriving in varied habitats without becoming overly specialized. This generalist nature is one reason they persist even as landscapes transform. Picture now a raccoon standing at the edge of a forest clearing, moonlight illuminating its fur. Behind it stretches not only trees and shadows, but a lineage extending back through time. Each instinctive movement, the careful placement of a paw, the cautious tilt of its head, carries echoes of ancestors who survived ice and drought, abundance and scarcity. The raccoon is both a creature of this moment and a living thread in an ancient tapestry. In this 9th chapter, there is comfort in recognizing continuity. The world may shift, technologies may rise and fade, but the quiet rhythm of raccoon life continues. They forage, climb, rest, and raise their young much as their ancestors once did. Beneath the stars, their presence feels timeless, as though they belong not only to a specific place but to the enduring cycle of life itself. As dawn slowly hints at the horizon, casting faint silver light across the forest, the raccoon retreats toward its den. Its path to night mirrors paths walked by countless generations before. The leaves may differ, the trees may be younger or older, but the instinct remains unchanged. In that steady continuity, there is peace. And so, as we close this 9th chapter, allow yourself to feel the gentle reassurance that some stories stretch far beyond our own. The raccoon's journey is one of resilience and quiet adaptation, shaped by ancient landscapes and carried forward into modern nights. Beneath the same moon that once shone over Ice Age forests, the raccoon continues its soft, deliberate wanderings, a living echo of history moving gracefully through the present. As we enter the 10th chapter of our quiet nocturnal journey, the night feels especially still, as though it has reached its deepest hour. The moon stands high and pale, casting long silver shadows across open fields and forest paths. This is the hour when senses sharpen, when the smallest movement carries meaning. And for the raccoon, this is a time of heightened awareness, of listening, of scenting the air, of moving through darkness guided by senses finely tuned to the unseen. While humans lean heavily on sight, raccoons experience the world through a different balance of perception. Their vision is well adapted for low light, allowing them to navigate in near darkness with calm confidence. Though their eyesight may not distinguish fine detail at great distance, it excels in detecting movement. A slight tremble in tall grass, the ripple of water disturbed by something beneath the surface. These subtle cues stand out clearly to them. Their large eyes gather available light, reflecting faint glimmers that give them that familiar glowing appearance in headlights or moonbeams. Yet vision is only one thread in their sensory tapestry. Hearing plays an equally important role. A raccoon's ears are alert and mobile, capable of rotating slightly to pinpoint faint sounds. The rustle of an insect beneath leaves, the distant crack of a twig, the quiet wing beat of an owl overhead, each sound becomes a piece of information. In the layered soundscape of night, raccoons distinguish between harmless background noise and meaningful disturbance. Their stillness often reflects listening rather than hesitation. When a raccoon pauses mid-step, head tilted gently, it is decoding the language of the dark. Their sense of smell is perhaps even more profound. The air itself carries stories, of ripening fruit, of other animals passing through, of water nearby. With each inhale, scent particles settle within specialized receptors, painting an invisible map. A raccoon can detect food hidden beneath soil or leaves, guided by scent long before it is visible. They can also recognize individuals through scent markers, distinguishing friend from stranger, kin from competitor. This olfactory awareness adds depth to their understanding of territory and safety. And then there is touch, the sense we have explored before, yet one that deserves deeper appreciation. The front paws of Procyon loader contain extraordinary sensitivity, rivaling the tactile perception of primates. In darkness, their paws become investigative tools, reading surfaces with delicate precision. When exploring a hollow log, they feel the curve of wood, the texture of bark, the subtle vibration of hidden insects. In shallow water, their paws move slowly, almost reverently, translating fluid motion into mental clarity. Through touch, they transform uncertainty into understanding. Whiskers, too, contribute to this intricate sensory web. Fine vibrissae around the muzzle detect changes in airflow and nearby obstacles. In narrow spaces, whiskers brush lightly against surfaces, signaling distance and orientation. This allows raccoons to navigate tight crevices and dense undergrowth without relying solely on sight. Imagine a raccoon moving through a quiet meadow just before dawn. The grass sways gently in cool air. A distant barn stands silhouetted against faint light. The raccoon advances slowly, ears pivoting, nose lifted, paws pressing softly into earth. Each step gathers information, sound, scent, texture, woven together seamlessly. There is no rush, because in the night, patience yields clarity. Even in urban environments, these senses remain essential. The scent of food wafts from a secured container. The hum of an approaching car vibrates faintly through pavement. The flicker of motion at the edge of vision prompts immediate stillness. Raccoons interpret these signals instinctively, adjusting their behavior with subtle precision. There is something deeply comforting in imagining this sensory world, one where awareness is layered and attentive, where stillness is active rather than passive. In the raccoon's experience, the night is not empty darkness but a rich landscape of information waiting to be read. As this 10th chapter settles gently toward its close, picture the raccoon pausing at the edge of a woodland path. Dawn's first light begins to soften the sky, dissolving stars one by one. The raccoon's ears twitch at a distant sound. Its nose tests the shifting air. With quiet certainty, it turns toward the safety of its den, guided by senses that have carried its kind through countless nights. And so, beneath the fading glow of moonlight, the raccoon disappears into shadow once more. Its world may be hidden from human sight, but it is alive with texture, sound, and scent. In honoring these quiet senses, we begin to understand that darkness is not an absence. It is a canvas upon which awareness gently unfolds, step by careful step, pawprint by silent pawprint. As we move softly into the 11th chapter of our peaceful nocturnal journey, the night begins to feel a little more mysterious, as though deeper secrets of the raccoon's life are waiting just beyond the reach of moonlight. This chapter explores the emotional and survival instincts of raccoons, the quiet balance between caution and courage that allows them to thrive in a world full of uncertainty. Beneath their playful reputation, raccoons are actually very careful creatures, shaped by evolution to survive through observation rather than confrontation. In the still darkness of the forest, imagine a young raccoon standing alone on a fallen log. The air is cool and still, and every small sound feels magnified. Raccoons are naturally cautious animals. They do not rush blindly into unknown spaces. Instead, they pause, listen, and observe before moving forward. This behavior is not fear in the human sense, but a survival strategy built over generations. In nature, hesitation can mean the difference between life and danger. So the raccoon's stillness is actually a sign of intelligence and awareness rather than weakness. Their cautious nature also reflects their position in the food chain. Raccoons are not apex predators, nor are they completely defenseless. Instead, they exist in a middle space within ecosystems. Larger predators such as coyotes, large birds of prey, and wildcats may pose threats, especially to young or weakened raccoons. Because of this, raccoons have developed strategies centered around avoidance rather than confrontation. When threatened, they often climb trees, retreat into water, or slip quietly into shadows. Their success lies not in strength alone, but in adaptability and smart decision-making. Emotionally, raccoons show signs of social bonding within family groups. Mother raccoons are extremely protective of their kits, especially during the early stages of development. If danger approaches, she may move her young to a safer den, carrying them carefully one by one. This protective behavior reflects strong maternal instincts. Although adult raccoons generally live solitary lives, they still maintain subtle social tolerance. They can share spaces when food is plentiful, especially during colder seasons when warmth becomes more important than territory. There is also a fascinating balance between boldness and hesitation in raccoon behavior. Urban raccoons, for example, may appear fearless as they explore human neighborhoods, yet this boldness is actually calculated. They quickly learn which environments are safe and which should be avoided. A raccoon might approach a backyard cautiously, test the environment with its paws and nose, then retreat if it senses danger. This is not reckless exploration but intelligent risk assessment. Imagine now a quiet suburban night. A raccoon approaches a garbage bin but stops several steps away. It listens. It smells the air. It watches for movement. Only when satisfied does it approach. Even then, it moves in short, careful bursts. This pattern of behavior reflects a mind constantly evaluating risk versus reward. Food is important, but safety is more important. Playfulness also plays a role in emotional development. Young raccoons often engage in playful wrestling, chasing each other through grass and branches. This play is not just entertainment. It builds muscle coordination, teaches social boundaries, and strengthens survival reflexes. Through play, raccoons learn how much force to use, when to retreat, and how to respond to unexpected movement. As night deepens, imagine the raccoon finally finding a quiet resting place, perhaps inside a hollow tree or beneath a sheltered roof overhang in a quiet neighborhood. The body relaxes. The breathing slows. Even in sleep, raccoons remain lightly alert, capable of waking quickly if danger approaches. This light sleep pattern reflects their vulnerability to nocturnal predators and their need for constant awareness. There is something deeply comforting about understanding this balance of caution and curiosity. Raccoons do not live in constant fear, nor do they live in reckless confidence. Instead, they move through their world with thoughtful awareness. They explore, but they also retreat. They play, but they also observe. They search for food, but they always keep one ear tuned to the sounds of the night. As this 11th chapter closes, picture the raccoons slowly disappearing into dark forest shadows. Its steps are soft, its tail sways gently behind it, and its eyes reflect faint starlight. The night continues around it, vast and peaceful. And somewhere in the quiet darkness, survival and curiosity walk together, side by side, guiding the raccoon through another safe night beneath the moon. As we move gently into the 12th chapter of our peaceful journey, the night feels even deeper, softer, as though the world itself is wrapped in a blanket of quiet darkness. The wind moves slowly through tall grasses and between branches, creating a soft whispering sound that feels almost like breathing. This chapter is about survival skills and survival wisdom, the quiet strategies raccoons use to stay alive in environments filled with both opportunity and danger. Survival for a raccoon is not about strength or speed alone. Instead, it is about patience, intelligence, and timing. Raccoons have evolved to be opportunistic survivors, meaning they take advantage of whatever resources are available while avoiding unnecessary risk. In the wild, food is not always guaranteed. Some nights are full of abundance, with berries, insects, and small aquatic creatures easily found. Other nights are harder, requiring long walks, careful searching, and strong persistence. Raccoons do not panic during scarcity. Instead, they simply expand their search areas, moving quietly through different environments until they find nourishment. Imagine a raccoon walking slowly through a moonlit field. Its steps are measured and deliberate. It pauses frequently, using all of its senses to check the environment. Survival often depends on early detection of danger. A faint scent of another animal, the sudden movement of grass, or the shadow of a flying bird can trigger immediate stillness. This ability to freeze and assess is one of their strongest survival tools. By remaining motionless, raccoons often avoid detection from predators that rely on movement to locate prey. Water also plays an important role in survival. Streams, ponds, and marsh edges provide not only food but safety. If threatened, raccoons can move into water because many predators are less comfortable chasing prey through water. Their bodies are surprisingly buoyant, and they can swim with smooth, steady movements. In calm water, they appear almost graceful, paddling softly while keeping their heads above the surface. The water becomes both hunting ground and escape route. Another important survival skill is their ability to remember safe and unsafe locations. Raccoons build mental maps of their territory. They remember where food sources are located, where humans are likely to appear, and where shelters can be found quickly during emergencies. This memory ability allows them to move confidently through large areas without constant exploration. Once they learn a safe route, they tend to repeat it for efficiency and safety. Seasonal survival also requires planning. During warmer months, raccoons eat more frequently to build fat reserves. This stored energy helps them survive colder periods when food becomes harder to find. Their bodies naturally respond to seasonal changes by adjusting metabolism and activity levels. In winter, they conserve energy by resting more and moving only when necessary. Urban survival has introduced new challenges and new opportunities. Human environments can be unpredictable. Cars move quickly, dogs may chase, and people sometimes try to scare raccoons away. However, raccoons have learned to read human behavior patterns. They often become more active during late-night hours when human movement is minimal. They also learn which areas provide reliable food access and which areas should be avoided. There is something almost philosophical about the raccoon's survival strategy. They do not dominate their environment. Instead, they coexist with it, adapting quietly as conditions change. They represent a type of survival based on flexibility rather than aggression. In many ways, their lifestyle teaches patience. Move when necessary, rest when possible, and always stay aware of surroundings. As this 12th chapter reaches its peaceful close, imagine a raccoon resting quietly inside a sheltered den while night slowly passes outside. The world continues to move, wind through trees, insects in the grass, distant sounds of life, but inside the den, there is warmth and stillness. The raccoon sleeps lightly, ready to wake if needed, but comfortable in the knowledge that it has prepared well for the challenges of survival. And so the night continues, quiet and endless, with raccoons moving softly through darkness, surviving not through force, but through wisdom, patience, and quiet understanding of the world around them. As we enter the 13th chapter of our gentle nocturnal journey, the night feels quieter still, deeper and more reflective, as though the forest itself is slowing down to think and breathe. This chapter is about the quiet personality of raccoons, their emotional intelligence, their problem-solving patience, and the subtle wisdom hidden behind their playful reputation. Beneath moonlight and shadow, raccoons are not just survivors, they are observers of life, studying the world carefully before choosing how to interact with it. In the soft darkness of a woodland clearing, imagine a raccoon sitting quietly on a fallen log. It is not moving quickly. It is simply watching. Raccoons spend a significant portion of their time observing before acting. This behavior is deeply tied to their survival strategy. By watching other animals, listening to environmental sounds, and smelling the air, they gather information before making decisions. In nature, information is power, and patience is intelligence. Their emotional intelligence is often underestimated because of their mischievous reputation. However, raccoons demonstrate remarkable awareness of cause and effect. For example, if a raccoon tries to open a container and fails, it will often pause, change strategy, and try again using a different approach. They do not become easily discouraged. Instead, they show persistence combined with flexibility. This ability to adjust behavior based on experience is a sign of advanced learning capability. There is also a peaceful independence in raccoon personalities. Unlike highly social animals that depend heavily on group structures, raccoons prefer solitude for most of their lives. This does not mean they dislike social interaction. Rather, they value personal space. They interact when necessary, for mating, parenting, or sharing temporary resources, but they are comfortable moving through life independently. This independence allows them to avoid conflicts and conserve energy. Yet raccoons are not emotionally cold creatures. Mother raccoons show deep emotional attachment to their kits. When danger approaches, their protective instincts activate immediately. They will move their young to safer locations, often carrying them one by one with careful precision. Even young raccoons demonstrate emotional bonding through play and physical closeness. Siblings often sleep pressed together, sharing warmth during colder nights. Curiosity is perhaps the strongest emotional trait associated with raccoons. Their curiosity is not reckless, it is calculated. When encountering a new object, they approach slowly, using their paws and nose to investigate. They turn objects over, feel their texture, and sometimes even rinse them in water. This investigative behavior allows them to learn about their environment in detail. In urban settings, this curiosity sometimes leads them to explore human objects such as boxes, bins, or abandoned items. To a raccoon, every object is a potential puzzle waiting to be solved. Imagine now a raccoon encountering a strange object on a quiet street. It approaches cautiously, stopping several times to observe from a distance. Then, slowly it extends a paw forward. The object is touched, rotated, examined. If it is harmless, the raccoon continues its exploration. If something feels wrong, it retreats immediately. This careful decision-making process shows how raccoons balance curiosity with caution. Raccoons also demonstrate emotional calmness during routine activities. Foraging itself can be almost meditative. When searching for food, they move slowly through grass, leaves, and shallow water, focusing completely on sensory input. The repetitive motion of searching, touching, and tasting can feel peaceful, almost like a nightly ritual rather than a survival task. There is something comforting in thinking of raccoons as quiet thinkers of the night. They do not rush through life. They move carefully, gathering knowledge through experience. They learn from mistakes, remember solutions, and apply that knowledge to future challenges. In many ways, they represent a type of intelligence that values patience over speed. As night moves toward its deepest quiet hour, imagine the raccoon finally finding rest inside a safe den. Its body curls naturally, tail wrapping gently around its form. The outside world may still be moving. Wind may pass through trees, distant sounds may drift through darkness, but inside the den, everything feels secure. The raccoon sleeps lightly, always partially aware, yet relaxed enough to recover energy for the next night's exploration. And so, as we close this 13th chapter, we are reminded that intelligence is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet observation. Sometimes it is patient repetition. Sometimes it is simply sitting still beneath moonlight, listening to the world breathe slowly around you. The raccoon continues its silent life, thoughtful and calm, moving through darkness not with haste, but with understanding. And the night, just like the raccoon, continues its slow, peaceful journey toward dawn. As we gently enter the 14th chapter of our sleepy nocturnal story, the night feels even softer, almost dreamlike, as if the world itself is sinking deeper into quiet comfort. This chapter is about raccoons and their relationship with dreams, rest, and the delicate balance between alertness and sleep. Although raccoons are known for being active night wanderers, they also understand the importance of deep, restorative rest. Their survival depends not only on exploration but also on recovery, conserving energy for the next mysterious journey beneath moonlight. Imagine a raccoon resting inside a hollow tree trunk high above the forest floor. The interior of the tree is warm, protected from wind, rain, and cold air. Dry leaves and soft plant fibers create a comfortable sleeping bed. The raccoon's breathing is slow and steady. Even while sleeping, its body remains lightly alert, ready to wake at the slightest unusual sound. This type of sleep is common among animals that must stay aware of potential predators. Their brains never fully shut off. Instead, they enter a state of light, protective rest. Sleep for raccoons is not just physical recovery, it is also mental restoration. After hours of foraging, climbing, and problem-solving, their brains require time to reset. Scientists believe sleep plays an important role in memory consolidation. During sleep, raccoons may strengthen memories of safe food locations, dangerous territories, and successful problem-solving strategies. In this way, sleep becomes part of their survival intelligence. There is something beautifully peaceful about imagining raccoons sleeping in their natural habitats. A mother raccoon may sleep curled around her kits, creating a circle of warmth and protection. The kits instinctively stay close to her body, feeling safe and secure. This physical closeness strengthens emotional bonding and provides essential warmth during cooler nights. In colder climates, raccoons sometimes share dens with other raccoons during winter to conserve heat. These temporary sleeping communities are practical rather than social in nature, built around survival needs. Dreams may also play a subtle role in their sleep experience. While we cannot know exactly what raccoons dream about, it is possible that their dreams reflect their daily experiences: streams of water shimmering under moonlight, the scent of berries, the feeling of climbing trees, or the soft rustling of leaves beneath paws. Dreams may act as a continuation of learning, allowing their brains to process sensory experiences in a safe, restful state. Urban raccoons also practice strategic rest. In cities, they may sleep in attics, abandoned buildings, or quiet rooftop corners where human activity is minimal during daylight hours. These locations mimic natural dens by providing darkness, safety, and temperature stability. Even in urban environments, raccoons maintain their biological rhythm, sleeping mostly during the day and becoming active at night. The rhythm of activity and rest is deeply important to raccoons. They do not waste energy unnecessarily. After a long night of exploration, they return to their den before daylight becomes too bright. This cycle of work, exploration, and rest reflects a balanced survival strategy. In nature, energy conservation can be just as important as finding food. Imagine dawn slowly approaching. The sky changes from deep blue to soft purple and then to pale gold. The raccoon senses this change even while resting. Light filtering through tree leaves signals that it is time to return to safety. Without panic, without rush, the raccoon retreats deeper into its shelter, settling comfortably for sleep. There is a gentle lesson in this chapter. Raccoons remind us that rest is not weakness. Rest is preparation. Just as raccoons sleep peacefully after long nights of activity, living creatures need quiet time to recover and grow stronger. As this 14th chapter ends, picture the raccoon curled peacefully in darkness, breathing slowly and steadily. Outside, The world continues moving, wind through branches, distant animal calls, soft early morning light. But inside the den, there is only warmth and quiet safety. And so the raccoon sleeps, dreaming softly beneath the endless night, ready to wake again when darkness returns. As we softly enter the 15th chapter of our sleepy nocturnal journey, the night feels deeper still, like a soft ocean of darkness stretching endlessly under a calm sky. This chapter is about raccoons and their relationship with water once again, but now we explore water not just as a survival tool, but as a place of comfort, learning, and peaceful reflection. For raccoons, water is not only life-giving, it is also a quiet companion during their nighttime wanderings. Imagine a raccoon standing at the edge of a still, moonlit lake. The water surface is smooth like glass, reflecting stars and faint clouds drifting slowly across the sky. The raccoon lowers its head and watches its own reflection. In this quiet moment, there is no urgency, only curiosity. Raccoons are known to spend long moments observing water surfaces because water provides both sensory information and emotional calmness. The sound of gentle waves or ripples can have a soothing effect on their alert minds. Raccoons use water in many different ways. They drink from it, of course, but they also use it to clean or douse their food, which we have learned is not about cleanliness but about improving tactile sensitivity. When raccoons dip their paws into water, nerve endings in their paws become more responsive. This allows them to feel food texture more clearly. In darkness, when vision is limited, this tactile enhancement becomes extremely useful. Water becomes almost like a sensory amplifier for them. There is something almost meditative about watching raccoons interact with water. They move slowly, lowering their paws carefully, turning objects gently beneath the surface. The reflection of moonlight dances across their wet fur, creating soft, shimmering patterns. Their movements are calm and deliberate, as though they are performing a quiet nightly ritual passed down through generations. Water also provides safety. Many raccoons are strong swimmers. If chased by predators, raccoons may dive into water and swim across streams or ponds to escape. Their bodies are naturally buoyant, and their swimming motion is smooth and steady. In these moments, water becomes not just a resource but a protective shield. The raccoon's ability to move between land and water environments makes it highly adaptable. In urban environments, raccoons often find alternative water sources. Rainwater collected in containers, small urban ponds, or even puddles after rainstorms can serve similar purposes. After rainfall, raccoons may become more active because new scents appear, food becomes easier to find, and water surfaces provide fresh exploration opportunities. Now imagine a quiet rain shower falling softly over a forest at night. The sound of rain hitting leaves creates a soft rhythmic melody. A raccoon walks slowly through the wet forest floor, sniffing the air. Rain often brings insects closer to the surface, making foraging easier. The raccoon pauses frequently, listening to the sound of raindrops hitting water puddles. There is beauty in this quiet determination. The raccoon continues searching, even under rain that humans might find uncomfortable. Raccoons also enjoy environments where land and water meet. Riverbanks, marsh edges, and lake shores provide rich food sources. Crayfish, small fish, amphibians, and insects are often found in these transitional zones. These areas are like natural dining rooms for raccoons, offering variety and abundance. The raccoon moves along the shoreline slowly, checking rocks and shallow water pockets with its sensitive paws. There is a peaceful symbolism in raccoons and water. Water represents change, flow, and emotional balance. Raccoons represent adaptability and curiosity. Together, they create the picture of quiet harmony between instinct and environment. As this 15th chapter closes, picture the raccoon resting near water's edge just before dawn. The lake surface is calm again. Birds begin to wake in distant trees. The raccoon sits quietly, breathing in cool morning air before slowly walking back toward its den. Its fur is slightly damp, its steps soft and unhurried. The world is beginning to wake, but the raccoon is preparing to sleep. And so the night continues its gentle cycle, water flowing, stars fading, and raccoons moving softly between darkness and reflection, guided by instinct, curiosity, and peaceful survival. As we gently enter the 16th chapter of our peaceful nocturnal journey, the night feels quieter in a different way, less about exploration, more about reflection and inner harmony. This chapter is about raccoons and their relationship with balance, the balance between activity and rest, curiosity and caution, wild instinct and peaceful stillness. By now, we have followed raccoons through forests, cities, water edges, and family dens, and now we look deeper into their natural rhythm of life itself. Imagine a raccoon standing quietly on a high tree branch overlooking a sleeping forest. The wind moves slowly through leaves, creating a soft breathing sound across the canopy. The raccoon is not hunting. It is not searching. It is simply observing the world below. Raccoons often spend moments like this, still, patient, almost meditative. This stillness is not laziness. It is emotional and physical balance. After long hours of movement and exploration, their bodies and minds naturally seek quiet moments to restore energy and awareness. Balance is central to raccoon survival. Their lives are built around cycles rather than constant motion. They move when food is available, rest when they are tired, play when they are young, and teach when they are mothers. This natural rhythm keeps their energy stable across seasons and environments. Unlike animals that constantly migrate long distances, raccoons tend to remain within familiar territories, learning every tree, path, and water source within their range. There is also emotional balance in their behavior. Raccoons are curious but not reckless. They are cautious but not fearful. This combination allows them to explore new environments without putting themselves in unnecessary danger. When encountering unfamiliar spaces, they pause first. They observe. They listen. Only after feeling comfortable do they move forward. This thoughtful decision-making reflects a calm survival philosophy shaped by generations of natural selection. Play is another important form of balance for young raccoons. Kids spend large amounts of time playing with siblings and exploring their surroundings. They chase each other through grass, climb small trees, and wrestle gently. This play strengthens muscles, improves coordination, and teaches social boundaries. If one kid becomes too rough, another may retreat, teaching natural limits through experience rather than punishment. In this way, play becomes both joy and education. Urban raccoons also demonstrate remarkable balance in their relationship with human environments. They learn which areas are safe and which should be avoided. They adapt their activity patterns to avoid heavy traffic or human presence. This ability to coexist with human development is one of their greatest survival strengths. Rather than resisting change, raccoons adjust quietly, like water flowing around obstacles. There is something deeply peaceful about imagining a raccoon moving along a quiet fence line in a suburban neighborhood. Lights from distant houses glow softly. Somewhere, a television flickers behind a window curtain. But the raccoon continues moving, calm and focused. It does not rush. It does not stop to analyze everything around it. It simply maintains forward movement while staying aware of surroundings. Even in sleep, balance continues. Raccoons often sleep in curled positions that help conserve body heat and protect vital organs. Their breathing remains slow and rhythmic. Their bodies remain ready to wake quickly if needed, yet relaxed enough to recover strength. This combination of alertness and relaxation is almost philosophical, like living lightly in the present while still preparing for the future. As this 16th chapter slowly closes, imagine the raccoon resting in a peaceful den as night reaches its quietest point. Outside, wind moves softly across branches. Inside, warmth and safety surround the sleeping raccoon. Its tail rests gently around its body like a protective circle. There is no fear, no urgency, only quiet existence within the natural rhythm of night. And so, the raccoon continues teaching us through example. Balance is not about perfection. It is about adaptation, patience, and moving gently through life's changing landscapes. Beneath moonlight and shadow, the raccoon sleeps, dreams, and prepares for another night of quiet exploration when darkness returns. As we softly enter the 17th chapter of our sleepy nocturnal journey, the night feels even more serene, as if the world has fully accepted silence as its natural language. This chapter is about raccoons and their relationship with danger and safety, the quiet survival instincts that allow them to move gracefully between risk and security. By now, we have followed raccoons through forests, cities, water, family bonds, and inner emotional balance. Now we look at how they survive in a world that is not always safe, yet not always hostile either. Imagine a raccoon walking slowly along the edge of a dark forest clearing. The night air feels heavy with mystery. Somewhere in the distance, a branch suddenly snaps. The raccoon immediately freezes. This is one of their strongest survival instincts. Freezing reduces movement and makes them harder to detect by predators that rely on motion to locate prey. Their ears turn slightly, listening carefully. Their nose lifts, testing the wind. Only after confirming safety does the raccoon move again, but even then, its steps are lighter and slower than before. Danger in nature is rarely constant. It appears suddenly, then disappears just as quickly. Raccoons have learned to respond to uncertainty rather than constant threat. Instead of panicking, they assess. Instead of fleeing immediately, they evaluate escape routes. This strategic survival thinking allows them to live successfully in both wild and human environments. Predators in the natural world have shaped raccoon behavior over thousands of years. Large birds of prey, wild cats, and larger carnivores can all pose risks, especially to younger raccoons. Because of this, raccoons prefer environments that provide multiple escape options. They like areas with trees, water, or dense vegetation where they can quickly hide or climb if needed. Their climbing ability is particularly important here. A raccoon can move upward faster than many ground predators can follow. Imagine now a raccoon climbing quickly but quietly up a tall tree when it senses danger nearby. Its claws grip bark tightly. Its body moves in smooth, practiced motions. Once high enough, it stops and watches from above. Height gives safety. Darkness gives camouflage. Stillness gives protection. In this moment, the raccoon is not running away in fear. It is choosing survival through strategy. Urban environments present different kinds of danger. Cars move fast, humans sometimes react unpredictably, and domestic animals can pose threats. Urban raccoons have learned to read human behavior patterns. They understand that humans are more active during certain hours. They learn which sounds indicate safety and which indicate danger. Over time, they build mental survival maps of neighborhoods. There is also bravery hidden inside raccoon caution. Survival does not mean living in constant fear. Instead, it means exploring opportunities while staying prepared to retreat. A raccoon may approach food sources that appear risky, but it does so step by step, always ready to leave if something feels wrong. This controlled courage allows them to survive in changing environments. Young raccoons learn these survival lessons from their mothers. Mothers do not teach through direct instruction like humans might. Instead, they teach through demonstration. Kids follow their mother, watching how she reacts to sounds, smells, and movement. Through observation and repetition, survival knowledge is passed quietly from generation to generation. As this 17th chapter reaches its peaceful close, imagine the raccoon finally finding safety inside a hidden den. The outside world may still hold unknown dangers, but inside the den, everything feels calm and protected. The raccoon breathes slowly. Its body relaxes. Survival is not about constant fighting. It is about knowing when to move, when to stay still, and when to disappear quietly into darkness. And so the raccoon continues its silent existence, walking the thin line between danger and safety with calm intelligence, guided by instincts older than memory itself. The night continues to watch over it, soft and endless, like a slow dream stretching across the forest sky. As we softly step into the 18th chapter of our sleepy nocturnal journey, the night feels deeper in spirit, almost like it is teaching a final lesson in patience and peaceful existence. This chapter is about raccoons and their relationship with nature's quiet wisdom. The idea that survival is not only about strength or intelligence, but about harmony with the environment itself. By now, we have seen raccoons as explorers, thinkers, survivors, and gentle night wanderers. Now we see them as part of a larger living system, connected to everything around them. Imagine a raccoon walking slowly through an old forest that feels ancient and wise. The trees are tall and thick, their trunks covered in moss that glows faintly under moonlight. The forest floor is soft with layers of fallen leaves from many seasons before. Every step the raccoon takes feels gentle, almost respectful, as if it understands that it is walking through history itself. Raccoons do not dominate their environment. Instead, they move within it, adapting quietly to its changes. Nature rewards creatures that understand patience. The raccoon's lifestyle reflects this philosophy perfectly. It does not hunt aggressively like some predators. It does not migrate constantly like some birds. Instead, it moves slowly, observing opportunities as they appear. When food is plentiful, it eats. When food is scarce, it conserves energy. When danger is near, it retreats. This flexible lifestyle allows raccoons to survive in environments that are constantly changing. There is also a spiritual-like quality to raccoon behavior when viewed through a peaceful lens. Their nighttime movements feel almost ceremonial. The dipping of paws into water, the careful inspection of objects, the slow climbing of trees, all of these actions seem like rituals of existence rather than simple survival tasks. Watching a raccoon move through darkness can feel like watching a small, living poem written in motion. The relationship between raccoons and forests is mutually beneficial. Raccoons help control insect populations by eating insects and small invertebrates. They also help spread seeds through their movement across landscapes. In this way, they contribute quietly to the health of ecosystems without drawing attention to themselves. Their role is not loud or dramatic, but it is important. Urban ecosystems also benefit from raccoons in subtle ways. By consuming food waste, raccoons sometimes help reduce organic waste accumulation in human environments. However, balance is important. Too much human food can harm raccoon health, just as too much human development can reduce their natural habitat. Coexistence requires mutual respect between wildlife and human communities. Now imagine the raccoon reaching a quiet clearing inside the forest. The moonlight is bright here, shining like soft silver water across open space. The raccoon stops walking. It sits quietly for a moment, simply breathing. There is no need to search, no need to run, just existence in the present moment. This peaceful stillness is perhaps one of the most beautiful lessons raccoons teach us. As this 18th chapter slowly closes, picture the raccoon disappearing slowly into shadow once more. Not because it is afraid, but because night is its natural home. The forest remains quiet. The wind moves softly through leaves. And somewhere in the darkness, a raccoon continues walking with quiet wisdom, perfectly comfortable in the balance between movement and stillness, curiosity and peace. As we gently move into the 19th chapter of our peaceful nocturnal journey, the night feels like it is reaching its most dreamlike state, where reality and imagination blend softly together like mist over water. This chapter is about raccoons and their role in the greater circle of life, the quiet natural cycles of birth, life, death, and renewal that exist continuously in the wild world. Raccoons, like all living creatures, are part of this endless rhythm, contributing to ecosystems while passing their knowledge and survival instincts to the next generation. Imagine a quiet forest at midnight, where ancient trees stand like silent guardians of time. Somewhere deep within this forest, a raccoon moves slowly across soft soil covered with fallen leaves from many seasons before. Each step is part of a much larger story. Raccoons do not live only for themselves. They live as part of an ecosystem where every action has consequences. When a raccoon eats insects, it helps control insect populations. When it carries seeds in its fur or scat, it helps plants spread and grow. Life continues through these small interactions. Reproduction is also part of this natural cycle. During breeding season, male raccoons search for mates by moving through territories and following scent trails left by females. Female raccoons carefully prepare dens for birth and protection. After giving birth, mothers invest enormous energy into raising their kits during the first few vulnerable months of life. These early months are critical for survival learning. The kits learn how to climb, how to find food, how to avoid danger, and how to read environmental signals. This knowledge is not taught through language but through experience and observation. There is a quiet beauty in watching young raccoons grow. At first, they are fragile and dependent. Later, they become playful and curious. Finally, they become independent night explorers like their parents. This cycle continues generation after generation, like a soft echo repeating through time. Death in nature is also part of this balance. Raccoons, like all animals, face natural risks from predators, disease, and environmental change. When raccoons die, their bodies return nutrients to the soil, supporting plant growth and insect life. Nothing is wasted in nature. Everything transforms into something new. This idea brings a peaceful understanding of the natural world, not as something harsh, but as something continuously renewing itself. Imagine now a raccoon walking slowly along a riverbank just before dawn. The night is fading. Birds begin to sing faintly in distant trees. The raccoon does not resist the coming daylight. It simply adjusts its rhythm, moving toward its den to rest. Life is not about resisting change, but about moving with it. There is a gentle wisdom in raccoon existence. They teach us that life does not need to be rushed. They teach us that survival is not about dominance, but about harmony. They show us that every creature has a role to play in the great natural story of the Earth. As this 19th chapter softly closes, imagine the raccoon disappearing into its den as morning light slowly spreads across the horizon. The forest grows brighter. Shadows grow shorter. And somewhere deep in the sleeping forest, raccoons continue their quiet lives, part of the endless, peaceful cycle of nature, moving gently between night and day, life and rest, beginning and ending again and again. As we arrive gently at the 20th and final chapter of our sleepy nocturnal journey, the night feels like it is breathing slowly for the last time before dawn. This is not an ending filled with loud closure, but a soft farewell. Like closing your eyes while still feeling safe, warm, and peaceful beneath quiet darkness. This final chapter is about legacy, continuity, and the gentle mystery that raccoons leave behind as they move through the world. Imagine the last hours of night stretching softly across the land. The forest is still. The city is quiet. Even wind feels slower, like it is resting after a long journey. Somewhere in this calm darkness, a raccoon continues walking, not in search of something urgent, but simply following its natural rhythm. By now, the raccoon has spent its life learning, surviving, exploring, resting, and adapting. It carries within it knowledge passed down through generations of raccoons who lived before it, ancient instincts encoded deep inside its being. The raccoon pauses on a hill overlooking both forest and distant human lights. From this place, it can exist between two worlds. Nature and civilization are not enemies in this story. They are overlapping realities sharing the same earth. The raccoon does not judge these worlds. It simply moves through them when necessary, finding safe paths, food sources, and resting places. This adaptability is perhaps its greatest legacy. There is something deeply peaceful about watching a raccoon at the end of its nightly journey. It is not racing. It is not struggling. It is simply completing a cycle. Survival is not about constant struggle. It is about consistency, patience, and resilience over long periods of time. The raccoon represents endurance in a quiet form, not loud strength, but steady existence. Now imagine future generations of raccoons. New kits will be born in hidden dens. They will open their eyes for the first time. They will touch water with small paws. They will climb their first tree. They will learn fear and curiosity together. The cycle will continue, just as it has for thousands of years. Nature does not rush. It simply continues. The raccoon finally reaches its den as the sky begins to change color. The darkness slowly softens into pale blue, then soft gold. Birds begin their morning songs far away. The raccoon does not fight the coming day. It simply prepares to sleep. Its breathing slows. Its body curls comfortably. Its tail wraps gently around like a protective circle. Outside, the world wakes up. Inside, there is only warmth and rest. And as we close this story, there is a final quiet message hidden within the life of raccoons. Life is not about moving fastest or being strongest. It is about adapting, learning, resting, and continuing forward even when the world changes. Like raccoons moving through moonlight, we can walk through darkness with curiosity instead of fear. So now the night slowly ends. The story fades softly like footsteps disappearing into forest shadows. And somewhere deep inside the sleeping world, raccoons continue their gentle lives, moving quietly between shadow and light, reminding us that even in darkness, there is beauty, intelligence, and peace.